a kingdom of legends. Long ago, beyond misty mountains and winding rivers, there was a kingdom where stories were treasured more than gold. People gathered in markets, tea houses, and village squares to share tales of heroes, monsters, and magical creatures. But among all those legends, none fascinated people more than dragons. The people believed dragons lived high above the clouds. Some said they controlled storms. Others believed they guarded hidden treasures. No one knew for certain if dragons truly existed, but everyone knew the stories, and everyone respected them. In a small village near the edge of the kingdom lived a boy named Liu. Unlike other children, Liu was not interested in swords or adventures. What captured his imagination were the stories of dragons. He could listen to them for hours without ever becoming bored. Every evening, Liu sat beside his grandfather. The old man knew countless legends. Some were about brave warriors, others were about ancient kings. But Liu always asked for the same stories, the ones about dragons. One night, his grandfather told him about a dragon that lived inside thunderclouds. According to the legend, whenever the dragon moved, lightning crossed the sky. Whenever it roared, thunder shook the earth. Liu listened with wide eyes. That night, Liu could not sleep. He imagined dragons soaring above mountains. He imagined speaking with them. He imagined discovering secrets hidden beyond the clouds. For the first time, he wished he could meet a dragon himself. As the years passed, Liu grew taller and stronger. But one thing never changed: his fascination with dragons. While his friends found new interests, Liu continued searching for every dragon story he could find. Whenever traveling merchants visited the village, Liu rushed to meet them. He searched their wagons for paintings, books, and carvings. Anything connected to dragons immediately caught his attention. Slowly, he began building a collection. Years later, people began noticing something unusual. Liu spoke about dragons every day. He read about dragons every day. He thought about dragons every day. What had once been a hobby was becoming something much bigger. As an adult, Liu became a successful merchant. His business grew quickly. His ships traveled farther. His fortune increased year after year. Soon, he possessed more wealth than he had ever imagined. But money was never his true passion. One spring morning, Liu made an important decision. He wanted to build a new home. Not just a larger home. Not just a more beautiful home. He wanted to create something that reflected the thing he loved most in the world: dragons. Soon, workers arrived from across the kingdom. Carpenters, stonemasons, artists, architects. For months, the sound of hammers and saws echoed through the valley as Liu's dreams slowly took shape. The first thing visitors noticed was the entrance. Two enormous dragons were carved into the wooden gates. Their bodies twisted around the doors as if they were alive. Their eyes seemed to follow anyone who entered. The message was clear. This was Liu's home. Beyond the gate stood a magnificent hall. The ceiling was painted with dragons flying through clouds. The pillars were wrapped in golden dragon designs. Even the floor displayed dragon patterns carved into polished stone. Every detail had been carefully planned. Liu spent years searching for rare paintings. Some showed dragons rising from the sea, others showed dragons sleeping inside mountains. Each artwork told a different story, and Liu wanted them all. Merchants began bringing unusual gifts to Liu. Dragon statues from distant kingdoms, dragon carvings made of jade, ancient scrolls covered in mysterious symbols. Every new treasure found a place inside the mansion. One room became Liu's favorite, his library. Hundreds of books lined the shelves. Many contained stories no one else had ever read. If a book mentioned dragons, Liu wanted it, no matter how rare or expensive it was. News of Liu's collection spread across the kingdom. Travelers began visiting simply to see the mansion. Some came from nearby villages. Others traveled for weeks. Many had never seen so many dragon treasures gathered in one place. Liu enjoyed showing people around. He would lead visitors through every room. He explained where each painting came from. He described the history behind every statue. Hours could pass before the tour finally ended. At the end of every tour, Liu always said the same thing. The visitors heard it so often that they began repeating it themselves. Liu would smile and say, "If I ever meet a real dragon, it will be the happiest day of my life." And every time, the guests believed him. Before long, stories about Liu traveled far beyond the kingdom. Merchants shared them at distant ports. Travelers repeated them around campfires. Even people who had never met Liu knew about the man who loved dragons. His reputation continued to grow. Far beyond the mountains, high above the clouds, there existed a place few humans had ever imagined. A realm hidden from ordinary eyes. A place where ancient dragons still lived. And one of those dragons was about to hear Liu's name. Among the dragons who lived above the clouds, there was one older than most. His scales were silver like moonlight. His eyes had witnessed centuries of history. He had watched kingdoms rise and fall. He had seen rivers change their course, and he had learned much about humans. Although the dragon possessed great power, his life was often quiet. Few humans ever saw him. Fewer still believed he existed. As the years passed, he spent most of his time alone among the clouds, watching the world from a distance. The dragon knew that most humans feared his kind. Whenever dragons appeared in old stories, they were often misunderstood. People spoke about their strength, their fire, their size, but rarely about their wisdom, rarely about their hearts. One evening, the dragon overheard a group of travelers resting beside a mountain pass. They spoke about many things: trade, weather, politics. Then one traveler mentioned a man named Liu. The dragon listened carefully. The travelers laughed as they told the story. There's a man in the kingdom below who loves dragons more than anyone. He filled his entire mansion with dragon treasures. He talks about dragons every day, and he says meeting a real dragon would be the happiest moment of his life. The dragon was surprised. For a long moment, the dragon said nothing. Humans usually feared dragons. That was normal. But admiration? That was unusual. Could such a person truly exist? The dragon found himself wondering. Over the following weeks, the dragon heard Liu's name again and again and again. Different travelers told the same story. Different merchants repeated the same words. Every version sounded identical. Liu loved dragons. One clear afternoon, the dragon decided to see for himself. From high above the clouds, he flew toward the kingdom. Far below, he spotted a large mansion. Even from the sky, dragon symbols covered the property. The stories had been true. For the first time in many years, the dragon smiled. Perhaps there really was a human who understood dragons. Perhaps there was someone who looked beyond fear. someone who appreciated them for who they truly were. The thought filled him with hope. That evening, the dragon landed upon a distant mountain. He stared toward Liu's mansion far below. For hours, he remained still, thinking. Finally, he made a decision. He would meet Liu. The following night, the dragon began his journey. His enormous wings cut through the cold air. Clouds drifted around him. Moonlight reflected from his silver scales. With every mile, he moved closer to the man who claimed to love dragons. As the dragon traveled, dark clouds gathered across the sky. Strong winds swept through the mountains. Lightning flashed in the distance. Soon, a powerful storm covered the kingdom, but the dragon continued forward. As the dragon traveled, dark clouds gathered across the sky. Strong winds swept through the mountains. Lightning flashed in the distance. Soon, a powerful storm covered the kingdom, but the dragon continued forward. At last, the dragon saw it, Liu's famous mansion. Even in the darkness, dragon statues could be seen along the walls. The dragon landed quietly beyond the garden. His heart was filled with anticipation. Soon, he would finally meet his greatest admirer. As the rain continued to fall, the dragon noticed a light inside the mansion. One room was still awake. A warm glow shone through a window on the upper floor. The dragon smiled. It had to be Liu. Carefully, the dragon moved closer. He did not want to frighten the man. After all, this was someone who admired dragons, someone who had spent a lifetime studying them, someone who had dreamed of this very moment. Inside the room, Liu sat alone. A newly acquired dragon painting rested on a table before him. He admired every detail: the wings, the scales, the fierce golden eyes. To him, dragons were perfect. Suddenly, Liu heard something. A deep sound outside. Not thunder. Not wind. Something else. He froze. For a moment, the room became completely silent. Slowly, Liu turned toward the window, and there, staring back at him, was a gigantic golden eye, unblinking, watching, waiting. The dragon gently lowered his head. Moonlight reflected from his silver scales. His enormous wings folded against his body. At last, Liu was looking at a real dragon, the very thing he had dreamed about his entire life. For years, Liu had imagined this moment, but reality felt very different from imagination. The dragon was larger, more powerful, more real. And suddenly, Liu felt something he had never expected: fear. Liu screamed. He knocked over his chair. Books crashed onto the floor. Without thinking, he ran down the hallway, through the front doors, into the storm. He never looked back. The dragon remained outside the window. For a long time, he said nothing. Then he finally understood. Liu did not love dragons. He loved paintings, he loved stories, he loved dreams. But he did not love reality. Many people are like Liu. They say they want adventure, they say they want success, they say they want change. But when reality finally arrives, it often looks larger and more frightening than expected, and many choose to run. Dreams are beautiful, but dreams are easy. Reality is where courage begins. And perhaps the greatest question is not whether we love our dreams, but whether we are brave enough to face them when they finally become real. Before you go, let me ask you something. Are you learning English one story at a time? If you are, you're exactly the kind of person this channel was created for. So subscribe and join us for the next story. Because every story teaches more than just English. Sometimes it teaches something about ourselves. See you in the next adventure.